welcome to Waterfront Conversations. I'm Jean-Marc Sampson. Today on the show, joining me is Jean-Michel Blais. Mr. Blais is the police chief for the Halifax Regional Police. With a lengthy police path nationally and internationally, he certainly has an interesting career, not only as an officer but also as police chief. He's here today to speak about the community involvement of the Halifax Regional Police and mental health surrounding police officers. Thank you for joining me and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
So could you explain your path to becoming police chief?
Well, I spent 25 years in the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. I worked in Quebec, Montreal. I also worked in Ottawa and then out in Manitoba. Following that, I went back to Ottawa, where I worked for 6 years, and then following that, I came out here to Nova Scotia, where I've been for the last 5 years, 5.5 years about. And in 2012, I retired from the RCMP to become chief of Halifax Regional Police, and I've been there since then.
So since taking over for Mr. Beasley in 2012,
that's correct,
3 years ago, what do you feel has changed in the community?
Well, within the community, we've had some significant changes. We've had new political leadership, which has brought about a new enthusiasm. We've had the contracts for the construction of the new military vessels, which has added further to the economic boom in the city, and will do so in the years to come. We've seen a decrease in crime, particularly shootings as well as homicides in there, as well as a change in, I think, the approach that we have here in Halifax to ourselves and to Canada overall.
And what are some community projects you're working on right now?
Well, personally, I'm the co-chair for the United Way charitable campaign, the workplace campaign. This is my second year that I have been the co-chair, working with Nancy Tower of Nova Scotia Power. I'm also on the board for United Way. I'm also on the board for the Salvation Army. And of course, I'm very heavily involved in many community initiatives that touch upon public safety and policing in the city.
And what kind are those? Could you give me some examples?
We're very active in many areas of the city. Tomorrow, just to give you an idea, we're going to be taking 50 young people and taking them shopping at the Halifax Shopping Centre. And this is called Cop Shop, and this is our 11th edition of it. And it's a really fantastic opportunity for our police officers to take an individual young boy or young girl out who would normally not have the opportunity to do so, to be able to shop and get Christmas presents for themselves as well as for their families. Okay.
As a police force, why do you feel it's important to get involved in the community?
Well, first off, as a police service, the Halifax Regional Police has been around for 20 years as an amalgamated police service. Before then, we were parts of police services in Halifax, Dartmouth, and Bedford. In today's climate, we have to be able to maintain and build upon the trust from the community. And a very important part of that is working with the community on a regular basis. That's what the whole notion of community policing is all about. And part of that is listening very intently to the community, working with the community to solve some of the issues, some of the problems, and being a driver in terms of public safety. Okay, and with you today, you have brought a hat which you wear in your uniform. Can you tell me more about it? This is called a forage cap. This is my personal forage cap. As you can see, the gold leafing on here indicates the rank of Chief of Police. The emblem here is that of the Chief of Police for Halifax Regional Police. And I will wear this anytime that I am outside, on occasion inside, but of course I have to be in uniform, so I wouldn't wear it right now, for example. Now, turning the page on your international policing, you have been to Haiti on 4 occasions. I want to speak more on the 2008 occasion. You were on the United Nations Stabilization Mission in Haiti. Tell me more about that experience. I was the Deputy Police Commissioner in charge of overall policing for the United Nations Police. I had 1,700 men and women who were under my command. We were there to support and monitor and to oversee the fledgling Haitian National Police that was there. We had many operational support mechanisms that were there, in addition to just basic everyday policing that was there. We had an emergency response team component, was known as a SWAT in the American lingo. We had anti-riot teams, so as to be able to deal with public disorder as it arrives. And we had investigative services, so as to be able to help the Haitian National Police to be able to investigate such crimes as murders, traffic accidents, drug trafficking, and the like.
Now, in 2010, you returned. Tell me about that experience.
Well, in 2010, following the earthquake that hit Port-au-Prince that eventually ended up killing over 250,000 people, I returned to Haiti as the lone RCMP representative. First off, it was as a fact-finding, but it very quickly became a mission to recover the bodies of two police officers who died. One was an individual who had actually sent me down to Haiti in 2008 and who had replaced me in 2009, Doug Coates, and the other one was Mark Gallagher, who is very well known here in media circles in Nova Scotia. Now,
your story was also included in Janice Landry's book titled The Price We Pay, one of the 18 stories. And you have also come out as you suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. Why do you feel as police chief it's important to let your officers know, not to keep it inside? Why do you feel it's important?
There's a stigma in policing and in first responders in general that you suck it up, buttercup, as the term goes. And the whole idea is that in spite of all that you've gone through, all the challenges and all the trauma that you've gone through, that you don't do anything. I wanted to break that silence. I wanted people to know that if the chief is able to come out and say that he has PTSD, that the average frontline police officer can also do that as well. I also wanted to destigmatize the whole notion of what PTSD is, or rather what PTSD is not. A lot of people think that they hear stories about an individual committing suicide because they have PTSD. It's not because they have PTSD, it's because they have depression. Depression affects a lot of Canadians. And so it was pretty well to destigmatize what it is and what it isn't.
How does the Halifax Regional Police help their officers cope?
We have a very robust employee and family assistance program. It's a peer-to-peer referral program in the event that we have one of our employees, not just sworn members, sworn police officers, but civilian members who are having problems in their personal lives and their work lives, to be able to get some help. They will be referred to those people that can be able to help them, whether it's a psychologist, whether it's a medical doctor, whether it's somebody who can help them with their financial or legal issues. We also have several new initiatives that we'll bring on board. One is the Road to Mental Readiness, which will allow all of our members to be able to understand and recognize some of the challenges that come about with mental health and to be able to get the help that they need to be able to deal with them. So these are just some of the initiatives. We have many more that touch upon the physical, the mental, and even the spiritual side of our employees.
As police chief, how do you cope with PTSD on a day-to-day basis?
On a day-to-day basis, number one, I make sure I don't abuse my body. I eat properly. I work out. I'll be leaving this interview and going to the gym to work out. I get as much sleep as I can. Sleep is very perturbed for me as a result of my PTSD, but nonetheless I try to get as much as I can. Obviously trying to avoid alcohol consumption. For me, any alcohol consumption isn't a good thing, and just because it interrupts my sleep patterns. And I don't smoke, and I try to relax as much as I can, and part of that is by taking my dogs out for daily walks in the morning and at night.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. I'd like to thank my guest, Jean-Marc Blais, for joining me. I'm Jean-Marc Sampson, and tune in next time to Waterfront Conversations for more captivating stories.